American football in Finland.
The voice in your ears and the face on your screen. I'm Perfect Purvis, and this is American Football in Finland. Today, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Coach Q and Chris Green. What's going on, fellas?
Never these guns. Never these guns.
Welcome to the Gun Show.
Look at it.
Okay. Hey, Chris, hold on.
Chris keep me in shape, man. Chris keep me in shape, man.
I got a little something now.
Hey, give it to him.
Just grown man strength over here. I ain't doing no gym. I can't do it. Out here flexing. Well, the AFF podcast is available everywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can see us visually here on YouTube as usual. Wherever you listen to watch, be sure to subscribe, follow, and like us. Anyone who watches, listens, talks about us online, but then don't follow, you are a hater. We know that, but it's cool. We'll get on with the show anyways. Before we jump into this, I'm serious about the haters. Like, there's a lot of people that be commenting and saying stuff about the podcast, and then I go look at subscriber and you ain't there. So how you know what's going on the podcast if you ain't subscribing? So if you listening or you watching, just subscribe. You can still be a hater, but at least put some skin in the game and follow, like, subscribe. Gosh. But let's get into this weekend, man. What is this, week 12? Got 3 weeks left in the season. Games are teed up this weekend. Let's talk about them a little bit. Thursday, we got Loyal Crusaders versus Helsinki Roosters, and then the Helsinki Wolverines versus Senior Crocodiles on Friday. And we end the week with the Wassa Royals versus Porvoo Butchers on Saturday. So let's spend a little bit of time talking about each one of these matchups. First one, Loyal Crusaders versus Helsinki Roosters. Q, what's the storyline or question you got for one of these teams?
What's the point? I know the schedule. I know the schedule is what it is. They have to play each other. I know for sure the Roosters probably won't have a lot of their starters in this game. So it's more, let's get out of here healthy. Let's get some guys that haven't played much or still need more reps, or guys that we plan on playing in the playoffs. Let's get them some more time, some more reps, and get them a little more comfortable in the offense. The same thing on the defensive side of the ball. Let the guys that know the defense but don't get a lot of reps, let them get in there and play and see what they can do, because you might be able to use some of them when you need them in the playoffs. So as far as the Rooster side anyway, I think interesting-wise, just to see how the Crusaders try to finish off this season, see if they look a little better than what we seen last week. I mean, at this point, you don't have anything to lose. They're trying to get out of here, just, wrap the season up. It ain't really much at stake for them. You know what I mean? So I think if anything, let's just have a clean, healthy, nobody get hurt game. And let's see what these young guys can do, for the Roosters and the backups for the Crusaders that maybe haven't played either. It's time to them. And it don't hurt throwing them in and letting them get some reps. So I'm not surprised if the Crusaders come out here and blitz every play, man. You know what I mean?
Hold on. Let me ask you this. You think the Crusaders have backups?
I'm sure they got people who like, you can have backups, but they're not really good. It's not really a good idea to put them in. You know what I'm saying? But this game, it's the Roosters. Everybody like playing against the Roosters. What is it gonna hurt? You know what I'm saying? Like let the guys get in there and get that feel. And once again, a lot of these guys playing to play, to pay. So
paying to play, yeah. You
know what I'm saying? So give them that chance, the opportunity to get out there and play, and it might not look great and all of that, but they still can be I won't say interesting game, but I want to see what these backups can do and see what we got to look forward to the future for both teams.
What about you, Chris? What's the question or storyline for you in this one?
Does this week lock up the number one seed for the Helsinki Roosters? If
I don't think so.
If they win this week, are they the number one seed? They still have to win 2 out of 3, right? So they've got to win 2 out of 3. So
you got to get to 10 because nobody else can get to 10.
Yeah. So they've got Crusaders this week. Then they got the Butchers. Then they got the Royals. So they got to win 2 out of those 3 games. So I don't think they're going to rest anyone in the first half. I think you're still going to see the starters in the first half. I think then you might see some players be rested in the second half because it's still an important game for them. They want the number 1 seed. They want the home field advantage in the first round of playoffs.
Yeah.
It means a lot if they can get that number 1 seed, because we were looking at the Roosters like maybe be the 2 or the 3 seed this year, probably the 3 seed, because we were thinking Steelers were probably going to be 1, Crocs and Roosters were then going to be the 2 and 3. We're not sure which way around it was going to be, and the Butchers at 4. After we knew what was going on within the season, obviously preseason rankings were a little bit different. But so the fact that the Roosters have an opportunity now to get the 1 seed, I think they go for it. I think you have to play your starters in the first half, at least get up by like 20, 30 points if they can in the first half, and then they can sit the guys.
Or first quarter.
Or first quarter. Yeah, whatever. If they're up by 20, 30 points, why not? Rest the guys. I don't think they should start with their backups, though. I feel like they should play their starters to start with. And because every game is crucial right now, you're on a playoff run. Like, every game is important, especially 2 out of these 3 games of the Roosters. If they win the next 2 games, yeah, all right, the last game of the season against the Royals, sit all you guys. Whatever. Do what you need to do. I don't really believe in sitting guys for a whole game. I feel like you do miss a step, and you want all the momentum that you can have when you're going into the playoffs. You want to get those guys in that are going to be playing. Even if it's just for a half of football, that's fine. I'm okay with that. But it needs to be something. You can't sit the guys for the whole game. I don't think, in my opinion anyway. I feel like you need to have that chemistry there. You need your mojo. And those are the games that you can get your mojo in because you can put big points on the board. So, yeah. I think they need
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I think that it's one of those games where we're more concerned about who's playing and who's not playing. And I'm just gonna go on that. I think the Roosters can sit certain guys. I think if you want to sit, Bryce Nunnally, Ethan Greenfield, you can sit those guys. I think that's who they want to sit, and I think sitting those 2 guys. Again, you're not going to hurt them statistically. And we all know that everybody really wants to see their Finnish players play. So it gives your Finnish guys more opportunity to, showcase themselves that they can play this game at a high level. I think it's interesting. I don't think they're going to sit the quarterback. I think Ambrose still is going to get to play most of the game. But I think that you could sit your running back and your wide receiver, still win this game. You have really good receivers and running backs behind them. Let Lassi Pajarinen actually play running back this game. Let him see what a full load feels like. See how that does for him, because that's the future. He's the I don't know if this would be accurate to say, but I mean, he is Kari's little brother, so I guess he's the next Kari Pajarinen. Forgot about that. That is actually his blood. So he's next in line. So we saw how that went when Kari was the running back. He was able to be the running back for the team.
Young Kari.
Young Kari. And now, he's not even young anymore, right? Young Kari. Well, let's see if I think this will be an interesting game to see if young Lassi can, fill big. Yeah, young Lassi can fill big brother shoes and kind of be the guy without having Ethan Greenfield kind of hovering. I mean, he'll still be on the sideline, probably hovering, but I like to see him just be the guy, do a full workload. I think that'd be interesting. That's about it. Matchup-wise, I don't think we're gonna do matchups. I feel like we don't know who's gonna be playing, so it's gonna be very difficult to do the matchups.
The referees matchup is the only one we can talk about.
I was gonna say interesting aspect. Talk about the referees, Q.
That's an interesting aspect to see how many penalties get thrown or don't get thrown. I think one thing, they run this clock in this game. That's about it. Yeah. Run the clock.
Yeah, that's about that for that. Let me slide this. Next game we got is Helsinki Wolverines versus Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Chris, I'll let you take this one. Storyline question you got in this game. I mean, are the Wolverines on a win streak? If they win one game, is that a win streak? Right?
I mean, yeah, they want to know.
Win streak, one game.
The Crocodiles.
I don't know. I'm trying to throw something.
I think for a streak, you got to win 3 games.
Okay, I was trying to throw something in there that could be helpful for something. I don't know.
Now here's my storyline question. What can Kevin Adams do to get another role next year in a different team? He needs more stats. He's the leading receiver in the league right now in receptions, in yards. I'd like to see him in the end zone more. So Rasmus, if you're listening, get my guy the ball. Let's get him in the end zone. But I feel like Kevin's playing for his future right now.
Yeah.
Let's see if he's to be honest, I don't even know if he's going to be playing next year because when I spoke to him, he was initially only going to do 1 year. Then he talked to the Wolverines, and I know that they wanted him back. So obviously he came back, but he's got a young baby with his wife right now. So and she's not long given birth, but I think baby's probably less than a year old, probably about 6 months old now.
I saw him in a stroller about a month ago, so he's very small.
Yeah. So,
but also that's not something. I mean, Finland love babies. Just so y'all know, Finland love babies out here. People will do things for you if you got a baby.
Yeah.
If he lived, does he live there? He live in Finland? Not to get in his business.
No, they just put him up.
Okay, yeah. So he definitely out of here then. He definitely out of here because Pampers cost a lot. So my boy ain't.
But not in Finland though. When I was last time I traveled to the States with my daughter, she was like 8 months old, and we took a suitcase full of diapers because we saw what prices they were in the States, and we're like, nah, can't do it. Like for one pack here. For one pack in the States, we could get 3 packs of diapers in Finland.
Really?
Like that's why we packed over 100 diapers. We were there for like a month, and we didn't buy not one diaper in the States.
I know, like speaking to Kevin, like he was always on the kind of line of like, I want to know if I can still do it, and I can do it out there, and he's proven that the last 2 years. I think he led the league in receptions last year. He's got nothing else to prove, but if he wants to keep going, I think one of these other teams need to try and tap him up for next year. At least have that conversation with him. Because
here's my question about Kevin Adams.
He's gonna get a good deal next year.
Here's my question about Kevin Adams. Do you guys think that he's one of those receivers that he's just so good, period? Or is it because of his situation that he's able to be so good because there's no other options? Like I think us on this show, I think we're all of the agreement that he's just really that good.
Yeah.
But my question is,
anybody else team, any other team, I think he does what he's doing now, but probably on a different level. I think.
You think at higher level? You think he
like
better stats?
Yeah, because like Chris say, look at like he's leading now.
Yeah.
And
on a team with no receivers,
get the opportunities that a lot of these other teams get. They don't really get those opportunities. They don't have 12 and 13 play drives all the time. My
question is this though: is that when you're on a team, and I'm just playing devil's advocate again. If everybody listening, I agree that he can play anywhere, but I do think that there could be the thought process, and this is just thinking people outside of us and people that are watching. When you start looking at, okay, if I'm a coach and I'm looking at a receiver and I'm thinking about this, is he gets a large amount of volume, which translates to a large amount of receptions and catch and yards based on the volume. So it's kind of like chicken or the egg type of thing. And my real question is, do you think that hurts his stock a little bit? And the fact that if you look at his film, if you look at his film, you're going to see a great receiver. But if you look at the team he's on, the situation, he's the only receiving option. Like, do you think that might hurt him? Like, go ahead.
No, I know for a fact because obviously I've coached him at UE when he played for the university team, so I've seen him on that team with multiple American receivers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know you agree with me, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
I think he's a good receiver. Like, just watch
Of course.
And then on the Aztecs, when he played with me at the Aztecs 2 years ago, we had an American quarterback as well, and we had 4 legitimate good receivers. He still produced big numbers.
I guess my real question is, let's look at all the other teams and put him on a team and say, where does he fit in? Or what do you think happens? Like, if you put him on the Steelers, what happens? Like, how does he take what Noah Choate does?
I think better. I think still. Yeah, I think better. I think whoever team Kevin Adams goes to, remarkably will be better than what they are, because they're on a lot of receivers with his capabilities. Like,
let's also take this into account. He's from the UK, so if you take him, that's your American.
That's
so
fine.
I'm comparing him to the wrong people.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm comparing to the wrong people. So what I'm saying is, now when we think about it, look at all the other teams. Which one of the teams
that brought imports that didn't do nothing this year? Didn't do nothing.
That's what I'm saying. We got to look at a team that brought in an American receiver and say that Kevin Adams is dramatically better.
I think if Kevin
Adams,
if he goes to the Royals is a better team if they had Kevin Adams this year. Royals are better team.
So you take him over Alpha.
I'm not saying taking him over.
And Kevin played with Theo Landers at UE.
So what you do is you keep Alpha and you tell him you ain't playing offense no more.
No, because Alpha still count as America this year?
Who's the third American?
What about next year? Theo's Canadian, isn't he? Theo's Canadian.
Yeah, they're both American. They're both A's. Or Prince Lolar is the linebacker, but he hasn't been playing. He's been hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I wouldn't.
And Rory Kelly is also Canadian.
So let's say this now. Next year, does Alpha count as a Finnish player?
He should.
I don't think he's been here. I don't think he's had the Kelly.
5 years, right? 5 years.
It's 3 years with the Kella, but that's also they changed the rule of that also. So that might not be the case anymore. Okay. But regardless, let's just say it's like it is this year, and he's an A. You take Kevin Adams and say Alpha bye or Alpha play defense only?
I would take Kevin Adams on the Roosters. I think he's better than Bryce Melanie.
Hey, that's bold to say out here, but
it is bold to say.
I thought we were all hedging our bets here and trying to dance around it.
Hell no.
Hey, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Now that's your dog. That's your boy. You're supposed to put it like that. That's your boy. You know what I'm saying? Even if you really feel that way, I can understand, because you've seen him and you've played with him. You've been around him way more than what we've seen. So if you saying that, he's speaking off of how much he's seen of him.
Yeah, off his experience.
Yeah. So I think he's legitimately. To me, I think he's a good pick to pick first. If you do pick him as one of your Americans, I think it's not a bad choice, because you don't need every import to be the run and jump over everybody's head type. You don't need him to run off on everybody. Look at Spencer. Like, to me, Spencer is the UK. To me, Spencer was the same thing. Basically.
We almost went a full season without talking about Spencer Cutts.
I know.
We got week 12 before
people that know
Spencer was on the show.
The people that watched Spencer when he first got to Finland, he was probably the most, besides one or two other slot receivers, Spencer was probably the most productive slot receiver I've seen since I've been in Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like production-wise, he's gonna run. He's not going to kill you running crazy routes, but the dude's always open. He always catches the ball majority of the time. And that's what I think Kevin Adams is. He's one of those consistent guys, and I'm going to take consistent over sometime big playmaker any day. That's just me. You know what I'm saying?
No,
and I'll tell you something else.
Kevin Adams better than what Spencer was. No offense to Spencer.
No, I'm saying he is. I'm just saying the role that he played.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you something else about Kevin as well, is that he's probably one of the nicest, most unselfish guys, and he's great for your locker room. He's a great coach. He'll do wonders for.
I assume he's got to be. I assume him and Will Young are two of the most optimistic people in the world to keep playing on that team.
Man,
I think
Finland,
you have
man.
to be.
It's
You
Finland.
have to be.
You boys love Finland, man. That's all. They love Finland, man. Hey, look. Hey, when you lose 63-0 and then you go out to Mumathuli later on, you done forgot about this whole loss, man. You like, you know what? I can do this at least 4 or 5 more summers.
Bring me the long caros. Give me the long caros.
You start drinking yellow vina. You like, man, look, I can do this for about 5 more years, man. Trust me, I've been there, so I know.
Well, I guess we already talked about the storyline of this. Did we do a storyline in this? Yeah, we said we're talking about Kevin Adams. But let's go key matchup in this game. Wolverines, Crocodiles. Do you see a matchup worth looking at? Q, I'll let you take this one because Chris took the last one.
Well, I just missed the question real quick. Say it again.
Key matchup for Wolverines, Crocodiles. You know, the Wolverines are going to show up. Crocodiles, they need to win. What do you think the Wolverines going to be able to do? Like, where are you going to look at matchup wise?
Will Young against the linebackers of the Crocs.
That's the Tapala brothers.
Yeah. I want to see what they do. I want to see what they do against Will. Will been hot. He been hot.
Yeah.
So they've been finding ways to give him the ball, to get him in open space. Hey, don't get too comfortable, you know, like thinking that I'm sure they're gonna win. I'm sure the Crocs are gonna win, but don't get comfortable thinking that it's gonna be an easy game, like because what it's looking like is we know we're gonna lose, but we're gonna give you a heavy dose of him. We're gonna give you a heavy dose of him and the other guy and Kevin Adams, and we'll see what we do. Like, but I expect the Crocs to win, so I don't really say matchup wise. Maybe Will Young against the linebacker core and the DBs.
That's something to look at, though.
Yeah, if they don't tackle well, then he can have another big game, you know. So, if anything, I think that probably.
What about you, Chris? Give me a matchup.
Key matchup, keeping Christian Powell healthy. That's the key matchup. And the reason why I say this, I don't mean necessarily for this game, to win this game. I mean keeping him healthy for the playoffs and getting him ready for the playoffs. They could sit him. I think they could sit him this game if they needed to, or let him play the first quarter and then sit him.
I wouldn't let him touch the field. I wouldn't let Christian Powell touch the field.
The dude has 117 touchdowns. What are y'all talking about? He gonna play. He got to get the record. He got a record to break.
Hey,
he got a record to break.
I don't care if we got a record to break or not. I am not playing him against the Wolverines. I am not playing against. If your quarterback throwing the ball 40 times can't beat the Wolverines, then you got a problem. But he ain't playing. I ain't playing. I don't care who we got to talk to. Board members? Senioki. Listen to what I'm saying here. Listen to what I'm saying.
Senioki have already done it this year. They've rested guys earlier in the season.
Like,
they rested them earlier in the season.
But they didn't.
If you want to have any chance of a championship, you better rest that man this game. If you want any chance of a championship, do not play him in this game. There's no point to at all. There's no point to play Christian Powell. If you want to run the ball, bring a 24 in off of defense. Or bring what's the name? Reddick. Get a ball to Reddick from the backfield. Hey, heavy dose of Reddick. But I know what Christian Powell should not play in this game at all.
Really? That's interesting. Y'all say he shouldn't play. Don't they still have like 3 games left though?
3 games.
I mean, he broke the record. He broke the record, so ain't no point in like trying to.
No, he tied it. He didn't break it. He tied it.
Okay, I thought he broke it.
Oh, he tied it. He still needs one. He got time.
This is who the Crocs got left, right? So they've got 3 games on the bounce. Okay. They've got the Wolverines this week. Then they've got the Royals. Then they've got the Butchers. That Butchers game could be the deciding factor if they're going to be the 3, 2, or 4 seed. Because if the Butchers get on a streak here, the Butchers could sneak in at the 3 seed. And that would mean the Crocodiles would have to play the Roosters in the semifinal. And I would not want to play the Roosters if I was the Crocodiles in the semifinal. The only way I would want to be the Roosters in the final.
I think all 3 teams want to play the Steelers.
Yeah, all of them. All of them do.
Everybody want to play Steelers because that's who the Steelers lost to in all their last 3 losses. Oh, man, that's crazy. Y'all say don't play them, though. I mean,
I wouldn't play him 3 weeks then. I ain't going to say 3, but 2 of them weeks, my boy rested. He going to practice. But he ain't playing in the game.
I tell them, look, you get one quarter against the Wolverines. If you get your touchdown, you get it. If you don't get that touchdown, you out of here, buddy.
Hey,
Because he needs the one touchdown to have a record, and then you can shut him down. You can shut him down for the next 2 games. But you got to at least give him an
they might do
opportunity
that. Yeah,
to
they
get
might
the
do
record.
that. They might do that. They might let him go on and be in and let him get. I wouldn't play him, but if we get to the goal line now, let him come in and get the touchdown. But other than that, my brother, if some kind of way this man, I'm telling you, if
saw this team, they don't get to the goal line. They get to the 40 and then kick a 50-yard field goal.
Yeah.
The one that they missed, what was that? Like a 50-something they were trying?
It got
blocked.
Yeah,
but it just now kicked my. They were almost at midfield when they tried that anyways. Like they were trying to prove something that they got a kicker. So I don't know if they'll get to the red zone.
He's been the best kicker in the league this year, which isn't hard, I know. But
you're it's definitely one of those. Well, nobody else tries those kicks, so obviously the one guy that tries them makes them. Okay, you're the only one playing, dude. Ain't nobody else kicking from those distances. Everybody going for it from that distance. But I mean, I guess he could be the best if that's what you want to say. I don't know. I can't find any kicking stats online, so I have no idea what anybody's kicking stats are. But I do know a lot of teams are missing these extra points.
Yeah, he's been. I remember I gave him helmet stickers for the other week. He was 5 of 5 with his extra points.
Extra points, yeah, I remember that.
2 field goals in this past week. He kicked all his extra points again. So, yeah, I mean,
and sometimes he plays D line too. So that's a lot of work for them, kicking and D lining. But yeah, I guess interesting aspect of this game would obviously be that if Christian Powell plays,
and if he breaks the record.
He could break the record if he plays, but that's if he plays. I don't think they've ever sat him though, right? Has he ever sat?
Not for a whole game.
See, that's the thing. They might be like, "You're not playing," and he'd be like, "I'd be damned." That might be the Christian Powell clause. I gets to play. You can't.
They set him in the championship game last year. They set him in the championship game.
Fourth quarter.
They have set him before. They have set him down before. He's just a good guy. He's just a good guy. It ain't no way I could play for him. That's for sure. He's just a good guy, boy. Cause you think what? Y'all done gave y'all this many years. Y'all give me 10 carries in the championship game? 10? I would have knocked every Gatorade thing over on the sideline that day. What? Could have been playing for the Vienna Vikings or Swarco Raiders somewhere. I'm over here. Y'all give me 10 carries in the championship game. That's a whole nother story, boy. Hey, do right by Christian Powell, man. Do right by the guy, man. Let him rest, man. Let him be strong for the playoffs, man. Let him rest.
Do that, man, right. Okay, we do got another game. I was like, we're just stretching out time now. All right, last game of the weekend. Another dud. Wausau Royals versus Corfu Butchers. Hugh, you got a storyline in this one, a question, something, anything. Hey, this is a tough episode. If anybody's listening or watching, this is a tough episode.
I'm going to say this. If the Butchers come out and play half-ass or don't come out high intensity, high whatever, and some kind of way Alpha have the performance that he had last week on offense or something similar to this game is going to be different. I'm not saying the Royals are going to win. I'm just saying the game's going to be different if the Butchers come with the inconsistent play that they do sometimes, that up and down stuff. But if they come out, strong and come out hype, aggressive, you know what I'm saying, getting in that mode to where I think they're going, then they're going to be all right. But as long as the Alpha's on the field, like we say every week, man, as long as the Alpha's on the field, anything is possible. I think this game will be a pretty good game. Honestly, I think it's going to be a pretty good game. So we'll see. When I think of interesting like aspects or whatever, it's kind of like it always comes to mind like what is Alpha going to do? You know what I mean? Because it's like everybody else is on the team, man, but it's like he's the dynamic, person on there, and it's like He's just not dynamic. He is the offense for the most part. So what are the Butchers going to do about him? That's what any question I would have is, what are the Butchers going to do about him? This man been lighting it up. You know what I'm saying? He just on that team. You know, he just got what he got. But I think anything, Brandon, how is he going to come out and get this offense going? And are they going to get up early, get Lucas in the ball early? You know, is Mickey going to start? You know, they're going to start out running the ball with Mickey. It's a lot of questions, but I just think the Royals and what they do with Alpha will tell a lot about how this game ends. I don't know if we're picking who winning or not right now, but
no, not now.
I'm not expecting anything super crazy, but I do know what Alf can do, and I do know what the Butchers offense and defense can do. So it could be one-sided as far as one team shows up to play and they just blow it out, and then the other team can say, "Hey, hold on, we mad about last week, so now y'all got to deal with this." You know, so it just, you know, I can't really say anything for sure, but
Are you trying?
I'm trying, bro. I'm like trying because, like, at this point, it's like Royals. We've seen y'all in and out, but I will say it's been two inconsistent teams that's about to play right now, and that's not a knock. That's the truth.
Yeah,
inconsistent teams about to play. So,
yeah. What about you, Chris? What would your question or storyline be?
Are the Butchers able to push for the 3 seed this year? So they need to win all the last 3 games, and they need to beat the brakes off the Crocodiles as well to be able to get it. But there's an opportunity for them to beat the 3 seed here. So, and it starts right now. It starts on Sunday. This team, they've got better as the season's gone on, I think. And I feel like they're in a good position now to be competitive in the playoffs. But where do they want to be? Like we said earlier, all of these 3 teams don't want to play the Roosters. They want to play the Steelers. They feel like they've got a better chance of beating the Steelers. So if they want to fight for that 3 seed, they need to come out firing this week. And they need to make sure that they beat the brakes off the Royals as well to prove a point to say, we're here. We're coming for the 3 seed. Crocodiles, you better be not resting any of your players when we play you in that last game of the season because we're coming for you. So I feel like this is a statement game for them because the Royals played well last week. They had opportunity to beat the Steelers. So they're capable.
Yeah, but let's remember what Steelers.
I know it was a 2-score game. I know it was a 2-score game, really, but still, they had an opportunity. They were in control of that game. They were 8 points up, 9 points up at one point. So they had an opportunity. So I think the Butchers need to come and make a statement early in this game. Yeah. And I feel like that's going to be important for them moving forwards to the last 2 games of the season to be able to try and push the Crocodiles or the Steelers, whoever it may be, for that 3rd seed. Probably going to be the Crocodiles, the Steelers, and the easier game. We'll see.
Yeah, for me, my question would be the same as it always is with this team, and it's like, how many touchdowns is Alpha Jallo going to score? Last 2 weeks, he's scoring 3 touchdowns a game. So he keeps that up, he'll score 3 touchdowns, and they'll still lose. That's pretty much it. That's how Alpha scores 3 touchdowns. Alpha does something crazy, and they lose.
Yep.
That's how this game will go. Let's go matchups. I'm gonna go first on this one because I think there's a very obvious matchup. And stepping away from Alpha, the matchup is the Royals linebackers, which they don't have, versus the Butchers run game of Mickey J and Alexi Hervinen. I feel like the Butchers are going to be, I believe in my heart of heart, the Butchers are going to throw the ball too much, but I still think that Mickey J might run for like 200 yards on them because they don't have any actual linebackers. And this team can run the ball with Mickey J as the running back. And I think that's something that's going to dictate how the game goes because they're going to have all those little bitty DBs playing linebackers trying to tackle Mickey J. And they're like, oh, he's small. Maybe we can tackle him. And he's going to break a lot of their ankles. and we're going to see how that goes. But it's going to be very difficult for them, especially when they get in the red zone. You find out that Mickey J is small in stature, but not in strength. The dude can actually push a pile, and a lot of those linebackers or DBs playing linebackers for the Royals won't be able to match up with him physically. And I expect to see a couple truck sticks from him this week. So I think that's how that matchup is going to go, even though that is the key matchup. I think that Mickey J is going to run all over the Royals. Yeah, I feel confident saying that. What about you, Chris? What's a key matchup for you?
Key matchup for me is going to be the Butchers receivers against the secondary of the Royals. So we talked about in previous episode about the defensive back, the new Swedish guy, Johansson from the Royals. So he can only stop one guy. He can only match up against one of these receivers, and they've got multiple receivers. So this is going to be interesting for me to see how well that they play call. Like you just said then, they think they're going to probably pass the ball too much.
Yeah.
So how is that play calling going to affect the game? But I actually feel like it's probably the right thing to do to throw the ball because the DBs are terrible. But then I like your argument of they ain't got no linebackers, so why would we not?
You got to think about it. You got to be real careful with that. That's a trap for the Royals. If a team passes more than they run, because they're going to have 6 or 7 DBs on the field, which means even when you're trying to throw it, where there should be a linebacker, he's actually a defensive back. So you have people like Peter Lundstrom and Rory Kelly, who they might be, and Victor Mantu as well.
Yeah.
You have guys Victor's been playing linebacker. Yeah, he's basically been playing linebacker all year, but it's more like a nickel back. Those 3 guys are going to be your linebacker core. Any one of them can guard a corner. Can guard a receiver at cornerback. Like any one of them could be a cornerback at some point. So with those coverage skills, it makes all those windows a little bit tighter. And
it's easier as well. It's easier to cover someone from the linebacker spot. Yeah,
it makes any type of mistake or any errant throw that Brandon Gwinner might have could easily be a turnover in this game. I think that they will do what you said, like throw it too much, but I'd be careful with all those DBs on the field. That's how interceptions happen. But that's a good matchup.
That's my matchup. I think it's a good matchup.
What about you, Q? Because I see you over there like chuckling on the line. What's so funny?
Give me a second. What's up, baby? Do you think the Butchers are going to win? They what?
Sorry.
They sorry?
They sorry. She said it. Oh, man.
Put that on. Put that on.
I'm not taking it off. It's on there.
What's Daddy's favorite color?
Red.
Red. There you go.
Hey, but no, matchup wise, man.
You were chuckling earlier about it.
I'm gonna say running backs. I'm gonna go running backs. I don't know if you can call that really a matchup, but
think like Solosti and Mickey J.
Yeah, because like
Landers is the running back for Royals.
Oh, sorry, Landers.
No, but matchups. Right. Secondary receiver matchup, tackling. Just the defensive tackling for both teams. How good is it going to be, really?
Can we speak on the Butchers defense? Have we spoken on the Butchers defense?
We haven't really talked about it a lot.
It's pretty good, right? Like, let's take the moment. Let's take the moment. Let's talk about the Butchers defense. Let's give them some flowers because I feel like, man,
they've not given up much points.
Overall, as a team, they have a good defense overall. Like,
let's do what we do on every team. Let's ignore the cornerback position.
Yeah, let's ignore the cornerback.
About the defense. It's a good defense.
It's a good defense. It's fast. They probably have one of the best linebackers, if not the defensive player of the year on their team.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Anytime you have somebody like him,
one of the only linebackers in the league,
you can do a lot defensively when you got a guy like that can cover space and he can handle so much responsibility. And I think that's what helps the Butchers a lot because they can afford to bring in other DBs or other linemen when they need to because they have a Zach Wright. You know what I'm saying? They got quick. They got guys on defense that can play in multiple positions and be effective. Mm-hmm. And I think anytime you got a defense like that, you can beat anybody because you literally can adjust to whatever another offense is bringing you because you have the players to. You know what I'm saying? If they need to be heavy, they got the players to come and play heavy. Can you imagine if they throw Zach Wright in the box with what's her name? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much stuff
they've done a couple situations where Zach Wright will come down and play like nickelbacker. Rod Sylvester will go to corner, or maybe Rod Sylvester will go up to safety. And then Zach Wright has played some corner this year as well. And then you have Timmy Nwika, who can play inside the box or outside linebacker. Mm-hmm. So he's played some nickel position.
And then they got Nico Royko back.
They brought Royko back. They brought him back.
They got linebackers. I mean, they got guys that can play line. They got safeties that can play linebacker, and they got linebackers that can play DB. Anytime you can do that, you can match up against anybody. And that's why I said some weeks ago that I think this is the team that nobody wants to play.
I don't think we realize how good this defense is. I'm going back. I'm looking at the scores now. Apart from week 1 and 2. So week 1 and 2, they played the Crocodiles first game. They conceded 34. They played the Roosters second game. They conceded 28. All right. If you look past those 2 games, okay, week 3, 13 points conceded. Week 4, 21 points conceded.
But hold on, they conceded the 21, but Zach Wright had a pick 6, so that's really like conceding 14. Like,
yeah, exactly. So week 5 was they conceded 0. Week 6, 0. Week 7 was their bye week. Week 8, 8 points.
Another pick 6 though. Another pick 6. So it's like 0.
Yeah. So week 9,
Zach Wright.
6.
I remember those.
6 points. Week 10, 3. Week 11, bye.
Well, again, they've given up 113 points in 9 games.
I mean, that's impressive.
That's what, 10 points a game, 11 points a game.
They souped up the team. They made their roster that way. I'm sure by choice. Like we said, after the midsummer break, are they going to go into the butchers that we know, the one that go on the run now? And that's what it looked like. It looked like that's what they're doing. I mean, they had a sloppy game or 2. You know what I'm saying? A little sloppy game or 2, but I don't know if they're on the run that they were on last year. I hate going back to last year. I don't know if they're on that run. That's different.
I don't think it is.
I'll tell you the measuring stick. The measuring stick we're going to see of how good this Butchers team has got better over the last year is week 13 and 14 because they got the Roosters and the Crocs.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to see it. And those are the only 2 teams that have put more than 21 points on them this season. They're the only 2 teams. Nobody else has put more than 21 points on them.
You got to remember that this quote unquote run that they're on. I mean, it started with a shellacking of the Steelers, and I give them that. That was a good win. But since then, it's been the Crusaders and the Wolverines they've played. So like they haven't like necessarily proven anything. Like Chris said, those last 2 games are really going to be it because those 2 games are going to determine seeding, but also those 2 games, they're going to play one of them in the playoffs.
Yeah. Butchers got to play like playoff mode right now. This game right here has to be playoff mode. Like at this point, this is playoff mode. And I say this game because you don't want to go into the next game like, okay, now we're in playoff mode. Like, no, y'all need to take this game as if this is a playoff game. Like, go out there, handle business, run the score up, beat the brakes off of them. Let's go off to the next team because you're going to absolutely have to do the same thing to this next team.
This might be this might actually be your last chance to stat pad. So pad them stats while you can because
you're going to get beat up. They about to get beat up these next 2 games. I mean, after this game, they're going to get beat up. So you want to go into the playoffs beat up? No, you really don't.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You don't want to play hard teams before you get to the playoffs. You really don't want to have to do that. But they could have to go through a gauntlet and then the playoffs.
So if they beat the Royals this week, let's say they beat the Royals this week, week 13, if they lose to the Roosters, it don't even matter if they lose to the Crocodiles the last game of the season because they're already going to be the 4th seed. Yeah. So do they bother? Do they bother with all their actual starters now? Just rest everyone.
I don't think they have that luxury. I don't think they played good enough to do that. Yeah, I don't think they played that.
You're talking about like momentum, yeah?
Yeah. I don't think they played good enough to do that. Like they haven't showed that enough to be like, all right, we're gonna rest guys. Like now, if you wanna rest Zach Wright in the last game, fine, whatever. You know what I'm saying? But I don't see them resting Lucas. I don't see them resting Mickey.
Yeah, the offense hasn't been
that good. Yeah, you can't rest them dudes. Like.
There's only 2 teams that can rest people in the last week, and that's the Roosters and the Crocs.
Yeah.
If they decide to rest people in the last week, you're like, okay. But the Steelers and the Butchers, you still feel like both those teams haven't got to where they want to be yet.
Yeah.
So they need these games throughout the season.
It's clutch time now. It's clutch time now. Now the time you got to go to your moneymakers. This is the time where you go to your moneymakers. If you normally want to, go to the open man. When it's playoff time, the open man is who I say it is. The open man is who I say it is. Like, yeah, you run the offense and you want to see who open. You know what I'm saying? But you got to go to where you know you're going to get that production. And that's going to be the none least. That's going to be the Lucas Harrells. That's going to be Rainio. Soccerler brothers. Whoever on their team that you can see as, you know what, I can count on him when I need to. Those are the guys that you got to go to in them moments in the playoffs and stuff like that. So it's gonna be interesting though. I think we're gonna get surprised. I think we're gonna get surprised.
Isn't Kripe back too for Porvu? Didn't Naughton come back? So he should be back.
Oh yeah, he's back too. Yeah. So he gotta play. He needs to play.
Yeah, too, they gotta gel that together offensively. You know what would be interesting, and we'll move on after this, but I think it'd be interesting if the Royals came out in like a triple option offense or like a wing T or something. You know, I think having Theo being able to pull it with Sawosti or Alpha, like that could wreak havoc if they line up
on the dive. Sawosti on the dive. Alpha being on the
dive. Alpha on the pitch, but coming from like the wing, so not in shotgun, under center. Like, no one's doing that. Like, that'd be nice. I think it's too late. I mean, it's Monday now when we're recording this. They're not going to hear this till like Tuesday and Wednesday. But, man, that'd be pretty cool. I would like for the Royals to do something different in this game because you have nothing to lose. And if the Royals players are anything like they seem through their social media and play on the field, they have egos, and that's all you have in this game. Is
ain't got nothing else.
You got nothing else to play for besides the fact that, simply put, you ain't no baby back bitch. Like that's all you playing for is to let them know that hey, we might not be making playoffs, but you're gonna have to respect us. And if you're gonna do that, do something different. Whatever you've been doing all season hasn't been working. So why not mix it up, do something different, and throw some type of wrench into the system against the Butchers, who I don't think do well against change. I don't think their offense would do well against a defense that came out and played differently than what they've seen on film. So that would be my advice. I don't know. That's an interesting aspect. Is I think that the Royals could really do something crazy in this game and make it different. Because I agree with what Q said earlier. Both of these teams have been kind of inconsistent, so there could be that trap game feeling to it, especially if they don't do what you say and take it serious like it's a playoff game. There's always a chance the Butchers come into this game thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy win, and then end up in the fight of their life.
Alpha got 400 yards.
Yeah, because
all purpose.
One thing I really hope doesn't happen is that they kick the ball to him. Because I feel like the Butchers have the type of team that they're like, we're not afraid of Alpha.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're going to kick it to him.
Last time I saw these two teams play, I saw Alpha get a ball and go in some directions that made no sense. Where all the Butchers fans were still clapping for him because it was like that's crazy that he did that. And for that reason alone, why would you ever get this guy the ball if you don't have to? But I think they'll kick it to him anyways because they believe that they can stop him. Not something I would believe in. But yeah, that was the games. Let's get into the picks. Are you an athlete looking for a community? Are you an athlete who feels alone in the process of trying to get to the next level? Join Ballers Members, a tribe for athletes in Europe with elite level mindset led by international legends Alpha Juice Jallo and Jock Crawford. Have a brother right in your backyard. If this is the community you're looking for, DM Ballers International on Instagram at BallersINT. Join Ballers Members today. Now let's get to our pick'em rankings. Let's see. In first place right now, we have Andy B is 28-5. Coach Mike is tied with him at 28-5. And then in third place, we got Coach Q and Finland Swami at 27-6. And then in fifth place, tied, we got Chris Green and Jamal Clay at 26-7. Then in seventh place, we have Ellie M at 22-11. And then in last, we got Perfect at 20-13. Nothing changed. We're in the same rankings we've been in for the last like 3 weeks.
Oh, I think Finland Swami went up one. I think they went above me.
Oh, yeah, he went up above you last week. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
You missed that. Yeah, he went up above you last week. Because everybody was like 2-1 this week, except for me. I think I was 1-2. Damn Wolverines getting that dub. Messed me up. But yeah, those are the picks. We're going to do our picks now. Since we already discussed the games, we'll talk briefly about which pick and why. And our picks will be available on Instagram at American Football in Finland, where you can make your comments. I think our picks are going to be pretty much the same.
I think they're going to be the same.
Right? So I'm just going to go ahead. You don't – what? What?
I don't think our picks going to be the same.
Really?
Well, if that's the case, Q, let me get your picks. I don't believe you. One here, Crusaders versus Helsinki Roosters. Who you got, why, and give me a score.
I'm going with the Roosters because I think they're just in the zone right now. I don't think that was a surprise. Like Chris giving me that look right there. I don't think it's a surprise. I'm going with the Roosters right now. Better team, ready for the playoffs, getting ready for the playoffs. So this is just to be a steamroll, even with the backups. I think this would be a steamroll.
Give me a score.
42-6.
Damn. That sounds about right. I mean, it's less than their 50 average, but yeah, sounds about right. Second game, Helsinki Wolverines versus Seinäjoki Crocodiles. Who you got and why?
I'm going Seinäjoki Crocodiles. I think they're just too overly powerful for the Wolverines team as a whole. I think offensively, the Crocs will get it done just from the offense. Even if their defense is giving up stuff, even if Kevin Adams have a great game, I think it still be easy.
All right, that makes sense. Last game we got is Royals versus Butchers. Is this the one you got a different pick on?
This is exactly the one I have a different pick on.
Who you going with? Who we know?
You know what? No, everything give me want to go with the Royals, bro.
Why? Don't do that. I've done that before. It ain't gonna help
because I feel like it's not gonna happen, and I feel like it's not gonna happen because the defense is gonna find a way to like make this not happen. But I think offensively it can happen because how inconsistent the Butchers come to play sometimes. So like that's why I like even thought about it. I'm not gonna do them like that though. I'm going with the Butchers. I think the Butchers are gonna win.
Give me a score. Yeah. Give me a score.
I'm gonna say 21 to no, I'll say 21. 42-21.
42-21. So you don't think it's gonna be close, and you were thinking about picking the other team.
Yeah, I think 42-21. I think Alpha gonna get off. Still. Landers might even score, but their defense is just gonna give up too much for them to have a chance in the game.
This is one of those games where you kind of wish you could. I mean, if you're gambling, you don't want to pick the winner of the game. You want to pick like how many yards or touchdowns that Alpha gets. You feel more confident in that than you do picking the game. Like I want to choose. I want to pick Alpha. I don't want to pick the Royals. If that makes sense. Chris, I'm assuming your picks are the same as Q's, but tell me why you're picking these teams and give me some scores.
Roosters, Crusaders. I'm going to go crazy with the score here. Roosters are going to win. They're way better. And they're going to win 70-0. That's my score prediction. 70-0.
I wish you were right, but nobody's trying to score 70 points out here.
They put 63 on them last time they played them.
A lot of teams have scored 63 points this year, but nobody has scored 70.
They're scoring 70 this weekend.
This is not the ELF. Teams don't do that out here.
They're scoring 70.
They don't want to do all that. What about the second game? Wolverines versus Crocodiles. I'm assuming you got the Crocs. Yeah.
Yeah, Crocodiles are going to win. The Wolverines defense can't contain with Christian Powell and the receiving core that they've got, and Arambide as well. They just can't. That defense is stout as well. The front seven, they're going to get a lot of pressure on Rasmus. He's going to struggle this week, I think. Yeah, so there's Crocodiles. Scoreline, I am going to go with 42-0.
Okay. All right.
42-0.
So you think Kevin Adams not going to get in the end zone? Will Young not going to get in the end zone?
I think Rasmus is just going to have happy feet and just get hit a lot. I don't think he's going to have time to get in the ball into spaces. I still think Kevin Adams is going to have catches, but I don't feel like he's going to put himself in good positions. I think it's going to be more of a catch hit because of the balls that Rasmus given him. That's what I think.
Ball be in the air for 2 days. All right, last game. You got Butchers and Royals.
Yeah, I got the Butchers as well. And I am saying the Butchers because I just feel like they're on a run right now and they need to prove a point that they're on this run, and they need to prove a point to the other two teams that they've got the next 2 weeks and build some momentum to go to those two teams. They need to get it going this week. If they get it going, it's going to give them some momentum and going into next week and into the week after. They want to push for the 3 seed, and they need to win all the last 3 games. So they need to build that momentum here in this game against the Royals. Score prediction, I am going to go Butchers 35, Basel Royals 14.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess it's my turn. And I'm going to be quick with mine, guys. I'm going Roosters 63, Crusaders 0. Crocodiles 63, Wolverines 0. Butchers 63, Royals 0. Going all in on 63-0, baby. Everybody blowing everybody out. Perv is only watching 1 quarter because everybody up 28-0 in the first. And then I'm off to whatever I want to do.
We watching Tampa Saints this weekend.
I'm watching D1 this weekend. I want to watch the Saints and ECG. So I need everybody beating everybody nice and soundly. No hiccups. No playing around. Everybody putting up points early. I'm nothing but blowouts. And all the teams I gave 0, sue me. You're not scoring. It's not happening. Defense playing good this week. We shutting everybody out. The Butchers already got 2 shutouts. This will just be number 3 for them. Yeah, I said it. Alpha, no touchdowns this week. Sorry, buddy. You're done. You're cooked. Oh, man.
You ain't getting the Peter this week.
No player of the week. You'd be lucky to get any yards. Last thing, though. I know we did the picks, but I have not mentioned this, but I wanted to mention this. Is Theo Landers is leading the league in rushing yards.
Yes.
That might be cause for Christian Powell to continue playing in games. Matter of fact, Theo is first. Ethan Greenfield is second. Christian Paul is third in yards. And he only has like a few more yards than Moses Harris, but he has one more game played. One less game played than Moses Harris. But I think it'd be a shame. I mean, I'm not ashamed, but kind of weird for Christian Paul not to be one of the top 2 rushers in the league, considering. I always thought it was going to be him and Ethan Greenfield up there, but Theo Landers is giving everybody a run for their money. And I think that's an interesting reason why Christian Paul should play this weekend. He should definitely play because what did he have last week, Chris, yards-wise? You said it earlier.
55, I think.
Last week.
55.
Yeah, he only had like 55 yards, so that was a down week for him. He was averaging like 2 yards a carry, right? So that's not great. But yeah, going to be a great weekend. Let's get into the outro. That is it for this episode of American Football in Finland. Any last words before we get out of here, fellas?
Good luck to the 2 teams in the Division 1 final this weekend.
Yeah. Good luck to them. Shout out to Turku too. Shout out to Turku.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Turku
Women's.
Women. Yeah.
Well, it's not just Turku because they also have to play in the championship.
Yeah, they got to play
Wolverines.
Yeah. Wolverines. Yeah.
Randomness. Let's throw this out here. The Tampa Bay Saints women went undefeated all season, beat everybody, like soundly. They lost in the championship game 14-12, and I was told it was because of extra points. They both teams scored 2 touchdowns, but one team got their extra points and one team didn't. Like, I didn't watch the game. I don't know what happened, but I did see the score was 14-12. Which is insane to have your season end because you can't kick an extra point. Just crazy. But, that's women's football. D1 championship is next week on Saturday, right? And that's Tampa versus EC Giants in Tampa. And then the women's championship is also on Saturday, but it's Turku Trojans versus Helsinki Wolverines, and it's in Vanta. And that's a rematch of, I think, the last 2 or 3 women's championships have been the Wolverines and Turku Trojans. Last year, the Trojans won. So good luck to all those teams. Good luck to all the teams in the Maple League playing this week. And we'll see you next week right here on the AFF Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, follow, like, and share on all social channels at American Football in Finland. Until next time, never forget
T-I-F. The F is forget about all the rest of the teams. Go Roosters!